All right. Welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. This is Noah.
And this is Jesse.
Another week of just us two, huh?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Episode 34.
Last week we just had the first round of the first matchup of the second round, which was the Night's Watch versus Talisker.
Yes.
Which was House Greyjoy.
Yes.
And House Greyjoy went down.
Literally.
And I think it was actually a lot closer
than either of us expected.
Yeah,
it was a pretty tough call. Actually, it really wasn't a tough call. It wasn't, and I like both. I love Talisker, but when comparing it to the Oven, just from a pure drinking pleasure enjoyment standpoint, that was an easy call for me. I don't know about these next two rounds though, because man, we've got the Dalwhinnie Winter's Frost versus the Lagavulin 9-year, and then whichever of these victors progresses, faces off the Oven.
Ooh, that's gonna be tough. Especially now we're only down to you and I running the show again.
It is gonna be tough. We'll see where it goes.
Scotch Review.
We have got the Dalwhinnie Winter's Frost facing off the Lagavulin 9-year. So we got House Lannister versus House Stark. How fitting for the show, right?
It is, right? It is so fitting, especially since they were like the main two forces throughout the whole series.
Yeah, and as HBO has started to release the history of the houses.
Yeah.
It's been unfolding and been very interesting just how much these two played and didn't play well together.
Exactly. So you might just kind of refresh everyone a little bit about these two different types?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So we got the Dalwhinnie. The Dalwhinnie here is actually from a town, if you will, the town Dalwhinnie in the Highlands of Scotland. So it is a 43% alcohol by volume, single malt Scotch, and in the past we've enjoyed it quite a bit.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong on this, but is the Dalwhinnie, is that the one that is the highest distillery? I can't remember which one that one was.
You know, I don't remember right now either. But it's got its own little town named after it, or it was named after its town, like many of them actually. But it is a great addition to this competition. So the Dalwhinnie is facing off the Lagavulin 9, and Lagavulin 9 a little bit higher in alcohol content. So here we're sitting at a 46. And this is from the Isle of Isla.
Isle of Isla? Highlands. So Isla versus Highlands.
Isla versus Highlands. And man, these are two great houses, not just in the Game of Thrones, but also in the Scotch world.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Dalwhinnie makes a pretty decent Scotch. They make decent Scotch. And obviously we did have some comments on Twitter about about one of our previous episodes. One person, they commented lager all day long. I think that's or something like that, right?
Yeah. And you know, it's tough because you and I know most likely Lagavulin's gonna face off the Oben in one of our worlds, whether it's a week from now, a month from now, our Christmas show, our birthday shows. They will face off, maybe all the above.
And then that same person though, they made a comment about this whole series. They said it's a decent series.
Yeah. And
I think they said Kleinleash.
Yes,
is another one that they did like. It had that had a nice green apple tones to it.
Yes.
Which unfortunately, and I remember like when we tried, I forget who it went up against. Maybe did it go up against?
I'm pretty sure.
I think it went up against one of these. Yeah,
the Dalwhinnie.
And I think
it was a close one.
It was a close one. I remember that.
All right. Colorize. I'm seeing them pretty comparable with the Lagavulin, a little bit darker, almost brighter golden color.
Yeah, it's like a brighter
That's kind of
A little
interesting.
bit darker amber though. So Lagavulin, I'm gonna say right now, currently has the better color.
Yes, absolutely.
I do like that little bit darker color there. Yeah, you get that peat, you get the smoke like normal,
Leather.
the wet leather. Like if you're on Instagram or Twitter, I did put out a meme that had the He-Man on there.
Yeah, that's pretty good one.
This is where it said like people says Lagavulin smells like Band-Aids, but it's really wet leather.
Until
See you
next
guys.
time.
Yeah, until next time, everyone. I have to admit, I thought that was pretty funny.
It was great. I'll tell you what I'm getting with the Lagavulin, and especially as we've progressed through this current bracket. I am getting a wonderful sweet smoke, wet leather nose, followed by sea salt, seawater.
You know, like I mentioned before, I get the peat. When I said smoked, what do you think about like smoked meat?
I'm thinking more like smoked caramel or smoked banana.
I'm definitely gonna say like a smoked meat with a with some peat and maybe pear.
Pear, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna let you have your first sip before I throw out all my. I still don't get. I get the smoked flavor, but not so much a smoked meat. To me, get ready for this. It reminds me of when I make s'mores on the fire pit with my kiddos, and we burn the outside of the marshmallow. It's that burnt flavor, that burnt marshmallow, because it's kind of smoky but sweet.
For those of you who are probably watching this, you see me like looking down. It's because this time I did all my notes on my phone, so and my phone keeps like turning off.
We got it. It's a brand new phone, ladies and gentlemen. He
Yes,
is
it
getting used to this. We literally brand new, straight out the box, taking his notes. And so, yeah, we'll just get some settings adjusted. So this is the Dalwhinnie Winter's Frost.
I'm pretty sure this is the one that is in the higher elevation because I remember something about. I remember us talking about it before and how it seemed appropriate for the Starks being up north in the winter and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure this is the highest distillery in Scotland.
Great nose. Remember, this is 3% less alcohol by volume. So we're at 43 versus 46 with the Lagavulin.
Oh, much better than a graham. I get like graham cracker a little bit.
This is to me, the floral, pear, and
You definitely get floral. I think you get
the citrus is popping on this one.
I'm telling you, I get like a little bit of like a honey graham cracker.
Maybe on the taste. I'm not getting that in the nose. Apple.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely smell.
Not the super sweet apple, the good apple.
Oh, just to let everyone know too, these tasting notes that we're probably giving you today are probably different than what we gave you earlier because these have actually sat. I mean, they haven't been like the cork has been in them, so it's not like they've been first unsealed
It's
for
not
the first
a
time.
first cork.
Yeah.
These bottles were no longer virgins to having their corks removed.
The ones behind me, on the other hand, those are all virgins still. And they're not going to be sacrificed like these ones.
I mean, unless
someone wants to throw up the money for them, then
come have a drink with us for only $100. You can have a sip of one of these bottles, unless it's one of the good bottles, and then it may be $200.
It's time for our shout outs.
Shout outs. I'm going to give a couple to the team I work with.
Okay.
And we're getting ready, ramping up for this very intriguing, interesting, challenging, potentially holiday season. And the team is holding on. They're doing good. So shout out to all of you guys that I work with for keeping your chins up, even as these initial first blows start to come our way.
That's a good one. Any others?
That's the big one right now. I mean,
All right.
yeah, I'm eagerly anticipating this next race in the Formula One World Championship. Like, I'll give a shout out to all the people that others hate. Tom Brady, man, once again knocking it out of the park. Buccaneers doing great things. Patriots doing just the opposite. Yeah, I don't. I mean,
Everyone loves a winner.
I'm not a mathematician, but I am. Yeah, everyone loves a winner except for everyone who hates Tom Brady. So yeah, shout out to Tom Brady and the whole Buccaneers team. It's not one man, but for him, yeah, not giving up. I love this when a hero, as I would call them,
Right.
So others might call him an anti-hero, but I call him a hero. Face adversity, they switch everything up, go to a new team, and show that, hey, this wasn't luck.
Personally, you can't take anything away from Tom Brady. Like, I have no problem with Tom Brady. You can't argue with the facts of like what he's done on the field. So I think that's awesome. My shout out is football related as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear this.
So I am going to give a shout out to the University of Colorado football team for winning their second game of the season.
Nice.
And beating up on the worst Power 5 team in college football currently.
All right.
But they did struggle. So, I mean, Arizona wasn't very good to begin with, but CU's offense was like ranked like 129th out of 132 schools or something. So it wasn't like CU was like all that much better than Arizona, but their defense scored, their special team scored, and their offense actually came alive in the second half. So they actually look like a decent football team for once.
That's awesome.
Especially since they've been so poor for the last 15 years or more.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just want to give that the CU football team a shout out. And geez, I don't think I have any other shout outs other than that. Oh, well, I guess if we're going to say football related, I might do one other shout out. He probably doesn't know who I am other than he probably thinks I'm just a subscriber. He probably sees my name every once in a while on there. But not even my name, just my handle, my username. But I'll give a shout out to Adam Munstertiger, who runs the Buffstampede kind of like site for the University of Colorado. He does actually a really great job of reporting on the Buffaloes, and I'm sure it has to be a total struggle for him, especially with how bad the Buffs have been playing this year. Like, just to cover a losing team and everyone out with their pitchforks and shovels saying that they want like the coaches to be fired and everything like that. So I'm sure it's a pretty tough job for him, but he has remained very professional and he's done a good job. So if you do like the University of Colorado football team, I would say give Buffstampede a look see and see some of the great stuff that Adam Munstertiger puts out.
Nice.
So there you go. Those are my two shout outs.
I like them.
Restaurant Review.
All right, this week's restaurant review goes to Lil Riccie's New York Pizza and Pasta. We drove over to the one in Parker, Colorado, and it's right there at Lincoln and Jordan, southwest corner. And the location is pretty ideal, not a bad location. We progressed into the building and decent selection of beers on tap. I personally had the Denver Beer Co.
Pedal something or other.
Incredible Pedal. And I can't remember which one you had. I remember it
Pikes
was
Peak something or other.
Yeah, I remember it wasn't what you were looking for the first go around.
No, it definitely wasn't. But it is nice to try something new, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And from there, we had some pretty amazing appetizers. So I ordered the garlic knots. They were good. Actually, they were great. A lot of them. That was a lot of bread. A lot of bread pre-dinner. And Noah, you ordered the...
Jalapenos wrapped in prosciutto.
And those were definitely a 10 out of 10. That was
Yes.
a win.
Highly recommend. If you ever go there, highly recommend those.
That was a new treat. I don't know that I've ever tried that. Very commonly, you can find bacon wrapped jalapenos with a little bit of cheese in them. The prosciutto. Mwah.
Yes, I think that was actually a very good substitute there, having that prosciutto.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for my dinner, I went with the Ritchie's, the combo calzone. And it was great. I would say as far as calzones go, it's right up there with my top favorites. So it was great. How about yourself? You went.
Oh, I don't remember. I noticed it had some vodka on there.
Well, as we get, as we go in there, I'll talk a little bit like the atmosphere was a pretty nice atmosphere.
Okay. Yeah. So, go ahead.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, so as far as I'm concerned, as I walked in there, to me, it just looked like it was kind of like almost like a pub grill type of place. It didn't seem like an Italian restaurant. And honestly, I think the first person who helped us, which was the bartender, I thought that was terrible service.
Yeah.
Very cute looking. She's very cute, but terrible service. But there was a switch over to where we did get our actual real waitress, Mia.
Yes.
And I thought she did a phenomenal job because
Truly.
the dish that I wanted was actually not even on the menu. But I did see it like in the photos here on the Google Maps. Rigatoni alla vodka with chicken. And so I did request that from her because it wasn't on the menu. And she's like, oh, yeah, sure, we could definitely make that for you. Not a problem, even though it's not on the menu. And I was pretty psyched about that. When I got my dish, however, and I'm not really sure like if it was just I'm pretty sure it's an honest mistake. And she made it right, but the chicken was missing.
Right.
And but once I got the chicken and everything, it was a nice presentation. It tasted wonderful.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, due to the jalapeno wrapped prosciuttos and your garlic knots, I wasn't able to finish my whole dish.
Either was I. The garlic knots, again, were great. The presentation of the garlic knots was good, not great. The jalapeno bites, the prosciutto wrapped jalapeno was phenomenal. And the presentation of those was also great. So as far as when we walked in, the atmosphere for me, 7 out of 10. Good atmosphere, not great. The service for me, as Noah stated, at the beginning it was a little rocky, but quickly turned around. So I'm going to give the service an 8 out of 10. The food itself, everything I had was delicious. I can't complain about that. So the food is a 9 out of 10. The presentation of the food would be a 7 out of 10. And, the end result is an 8 out of 10. It was good. If I was going to do it a little bit different, I would change the atmosphere up just a little bit. But when I thought about it, I was looking around. I was like, they've made some adjustments. Probably when they originally set this up, it didn't look like this because of COVID. Some of the barriers between the bar and the seating that may have made an impact.
So I guess if we're doing a scale here, right, I think I would give it probably, as far as ambiance and when you first walk into the restaurant, probably a 6 out of 10. We're going into an Italian place. I expected more of an Italian type of feel, not so much like a tavern type of feel.
Okay.
Waiting, the wait staff. I am not going to go quite. I think you said 8 out of 10. Mm-hmm. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because I really feel like the bartender really dropped the ball. However, so if I was scoring off of her, I probably would give it maybe a 5 or a 4 out of 10. But if I'm scoring off of Mia, I give it like an 8 out of 10. So I'm going to say 7. And I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Mia. But she also missed my chicken. Food. I will agree. 9 out of 10. Presentation. I would say the stuff that I ordered, the prosciutto wrapped jalapenos.
Yeah, your presentation was better. Presentation.
Yours, I would say, is probably closer to a 7
I gave it, yeah,
like a 7 out of
7
10.
or 8.
Um,
Your presentation on yours was pretty dynamic.
yeah, the present, like I can't complain about the presentation on mine. That's what I'm saying, 9 out of 10. So I guess if you rounded between the two, it'd be 8 out of 10. Overall experience, though, if I take out the bartender, I would say 8 out of 10. Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it if you do go into Little Ricci's or
Reese's.
it's like LIL or the posh feed and RICCI. If you go in there, I'd say just let them know you saw them, you heard about them here on Scotch Hour. Ask for Mia. Mia is actually a great waitress, and yeah. So I gotta say about that one.
I agree. Mia did a phenomenal job. The service she provided was great. And oh man, the food, no complaints about any of the flavors of the food. The taste of the food was all great.
Do you want to vote on them now so we know which one we can continue to drink?
Noah's starting to panic. He's like, God, Jesse's just going for it. Like, I know Jesse had a long day. If you think you're ready to vote, you can let me know. I'll go.
Do you have a coin?
I do. I like to keep one in my pocket just in case I need to like find this slingshot and throw it at someone.
Because I'm gonna vote Dalwhinnie.
All right, man. I had a different proposition,
What?
which would be an interesting one. If the vote goes 2 ways, then they both progress to the next round, and there's a 3-way.
No.
All right.
But we'll do best 2 out of 3.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
On the flip.
Who's calling?
Well, if I'm flipping it, you're
I
calling.
mean, you never know. All right. What if it's got 2 heads on it?
You want to call it in the air?
Yeah, man. Heads.
It's tails.
All right.
All right. You want to flip this time?
No, you're good.
I'm shaking it up because then that way, you know, sometimes you can almost game it.
All right. Heads. Dude, it's going tails again. It's game over.
Game over. All right. Dalwhinnie will pass on to the second round.
All right. Stark versus the Night's Watch, which at the end of the day,
They're almost like the same house.
but they're not because it's not really his son.
Let me taste this one more time.
I mean, you got to be true to you. That's all right. They're both great scotches. I go Lagavulin because that's what I'm looking for in a scotch. The Dalwhinnie has a spike about 3/4 through that just feels like heat. That is surprising to me. It's not. A lot of people think of Lagavulin as this terrible, spiky, hot scotch, and to me, it's actually one of the better balanced throughout the palate, the nose, the blend.
See, I'm not really getting that spike on the Dalwhinnie. Right there. Okay.
Yeah, it's not at the very beginning. It's not even at the middle, and then all of a sudden it jumps just a little bit, and then
It's not even a very big spike.
no, it's not very big.
All right. Now let me redo the Lagavulin.
I'm not questioning your call. The other thing I love about the Lagavulin, and I love the floral nose on the Dalwhinnie, but the other thing I love about the Lagavulin is it has a familiar trait that the Oban has, which is that seaside finish, which you almost have to be surprised by or know what you're looking for. I don't think I would have caught it had we not had such great scotches as the Oban Night Watch, the Oban Little Bay, the Oban 14. I don't know why, but that is something Isla is known for from my heart. Even in their gins, the Botanist, one of my all-time favorites.
All right. You convinced me.
It's not about convincing, man.
You lobbied me.
Why don't you? Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I'm not going to twist your arm either way. I can't fault you for going Dalwhinnie if that's the way you go. Man.
I mean, all right. I am going to retract my votes.
Dalwhinnie falls.
And we'll put away the Lagavulin.
All right. Lagavulin. You will go quietly into the night. Not. Well, maybe tonight.
And then that way it'll be my house versus your house.
Welcome to my house.
Right? It'll be Omen versus Lagavulin.
Oh, man. I am going to pull this out. This is from Witches and Witchcraft. And I got my crystal ball here. And what do I see in your future?
A broken glass.
Oh, man, that's some pretty good smelling scotch. I think I see that in your future.
What did you do with that one?
I mean, take a gander. Take a guess. It's yours. I haven't sipped from it. It's all you.
I thought you poured Lagavulin into this earlier.
I did. That's smarts right there, you guys. So pre-planning. Got to put the bottle away. Save an extra glass to the side.
You know, this little glass actually gives a much better.
I know. We need to use those for the next go around. So we were gifted these glasses from Stranahan's here in Denver, Colorado, through or via Noah's mother as a birthday present. Great gift, great experience. Yeah, those glasses make a difference. We need to use them next week.
Yeah.
Especially since we're going to be we'll find 2 more. We'll go buy 2 more. Unless Stranahan's, if you watch this, you want to send us 2 more, we'll be happy to use them. But yeah, the Noah's on that.
Yeah, I think they actually do a better job than these glasses or even the other ones that we were using.
Yeah. That smells amazing.
Yeah, I smelled it. I'm like, this doesn't smell like the one that we just.
It's because it was in the magic bottle.
Smarter Galactus.
I believe we had chosen the astrology and omens, basically how we talked about like in the Game of Thrones. There was a comet that was like blood, like I think red comet like blood or something like that, which brought back the magic into the world. They saw it as an omen. Then the dragons were born again and brought magic back into the world. And so we thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about astrology / omen / maybe a little bit of astronomy, since they all kind of intertwine with each other to go along with this. So what's your take? Or unless you want me to start.
I'll start. The first thing I would say is I'm going to actually take a sidestep. And I took a couple notes here, and I'm going to use them because I don't want to confuse a couple different pieces. So the first piece here, astronomy versus astrology, big difference. So the two are in some ways intertwined through astrology, which is considered a pseudoscience, but astronomy is absolutely considered a science or a study of everything in the universe beyond Earth's atmosphere. So astronomy would be studying everything outside of our own Earth. This is comets. This is satellites beyond the atmosphere. Those satellites could be a moon. They could be the sun, other planets, other asteroids, other suns, other universes, galaxies, etc., etc., etc. So astronomy is the study of all of those pieces outside. Astrology more so than incorporates the impact, the study and the science or the pseudoscience of the impact that all of these other pieces have upon our own Earth. So not so much just what's out there, but how it impacts us on Earth and individuals. And it's a fun thing to study. And a lot of people will poke fun and have laughs at it. I myself at sometimes do the same. Particularly when I find out some people, having a situation because Mars is in retrograde, so they just can't today because
it's usually Mercury, but
yeah, Mercury's in retrograde, and it's just like
sometimes Venus.
You're what? What's in retrograde?
Venus.
Does that mean it's cold outside? I got it. All right. So the impacts that all of these other beings and then signs that those beings represent have on us as individuals. So Noah, I know you're going to go into a lot more detail about those pieces, but the part I want to bring into it is that with astrology, a lot of people again kind of debunk the science behind the pseudoscience and the impact it has on all of us as individuals. But so often I can only agree and not comment negatively upon, okay, so this is person A and this is person B, and person A is a Capricorn and person B is a Scorpio. And because of that, they're going to have these traits. And it would be so easy to say, oh, that's not true. But so often the people I've known, it's like, yeah, that's them, all right. Like that's him to a T, or that's her to the letter. So with that, it's also the pieces that this astrology has been used for on records through different civilizations for 2 millennia before Christ, BC. So there's a lot of history that goes into this as far as Egyptians, as far as Aztecs, and even older civilizations using this, leaving markings, whether it's inside of a pyramid or on a tablet, and leaving notes so definitive that they give exact times of eclipses thousands of years later, or within days of thousands of years later. Oh, usually it's minutes or seconds, not days, but very accurate tales of here comes Halley's Comet again. And what are the chances? Well, obviously they knew something because they were studying it. Brings in a whole different other questions around the universe. But there is, to me, something that is very real about it as well. Right down to the point of Earth would not be Earth. It would not be the same if we didn't have a moon put in our orbit, in our atmosphere, or outside of our atmosphere, a satellite that controls our very earthly waters, the way of the tides.
So I know you mentioned how it's a pseudoscience, and if you do go back far enough in the history, like to the Babylonians and Sumeria and stuff like that, that's where astrology was born from. Astronomy was born from astrology. Because they were studying these stars, and I think the difference, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but when you go back and look at those clay tablets and you look at the history of what they were using astrology for back then, it was more about society than individual people. And as of, like, I guess in today's time, where it does become more of a pseudoscience, I guess, it's more based upon like individuals rather than society. But if you even go back to the 1930s to Hitler, and there's even other leaders that used astrology, not just for themselves personally, but for society and war, like determining wars or economies and things like that.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with those pieces. I think it's just very interesting that it does have this potential to be dissected further and further and further, going towards a root of individuals that lead to that society.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how astronomy did develop from astrology, but
it's
also
considered the pseudoscience.
Yeah, it's considered
I understand.
Yeah, which is, I mean, and I think when you start looking at astrology, there is like a total science behind it. Like there's like a whole bunch of information that goes along with it. There's like the moon cycles that were basically came from astrology. There's they look at the different planets and how the planets affect Earth. So this is, as you were talking about, right, with astrology, how it affects the Earth. And so basically when you look at personal charts or birth charts or natal charts is what they're called, they look at the time that you were born, right? And then how does that affect you? Because, I mean, there's different energies. And if you understand energy and different pools of gravity and all that types of stuff, where things are in the universe, I guess, for lack of better terms, or things above the earth.
Or below.
Or below. Depends if you believe that Earth is flat or not. Then yeah, that would have a direct pull or maybe some kind of influence on you, whatever it is.
Yeah. If you do a little bit of research into astronomy, which came from astrology, ironically, you learn that there are actually forces out there. There are black holes and there are white holes. And what they have found is that these white holes are 100 times more terrifying as far as a concept of the black hole, because they are literally curving and pulling entire galaxies and universes towards them. And they're so far away that from a perspective of here's what we can see, we don't have a time lapse yet. But it's absolutely terrifying to think that there's something out there that is white and all consuming, pulling entire universes and galaxies into it. Can you imagine? Dude,
Yeah.
it's scary to think about.
It is.
One of those moves in next door. Hey, Elon Musk, let's be friends. Get me out.
So in any case, when it comes to, let's say, astrology, I know back with the Babylonians and even, before Christ or even a little bit after Christ, they would dictate or believe it would dictate like how certain kings or queens would rule and whether or not it'd be favorable to the gods or not. And then they had omens, right? When a comet would fly over, they thought maybe it was either a good omen or a bad omen. When there was an eclipse, that was an omen.
You all gonna die.
But I think when you kind of consider all of that, right, that's kind of like was our tie-in to the Game of Thrones and the comment there. Now, as far as like, I guess I did talk a little bit about the Babylonians. You kind of brought it up how like it goes all the way back there with the time frame.
Yeah.
And it does go to Sumeria Sumer is I think the clay tablets of Sumer. And in the clay tablets of Sumer, they do talk about 3 tablets, Numa, Anu, and Enil. And if you've actually spent some time watching
Ancient Aliens. That was coming because that's where I saw about them.
And you would know that those are 3 different Anunnakis. I believe Anu was the head Anunnaki. Enil was his like right hand man. Which later on, like when you start looking at the Greeks and Romans, that's where it became more like Zeus and I forget who the other one would be, but that's where we start getting God and stuff like that.
Yep.
And Satan. I think when it comes to Christianity, Enil is Satan and Anu is God.
Okay.
And there's a TV channel called Gaia, and they have a show called, I think it's called Ancient excuse me, I think it's called Ancient Civilizations, and they go real in depth into Anu and Enil and the Anunnaki and stuff like that, and how humans were created by the Anunnaki to be a slave race and all that stuff. And this is all supported by the clay tablets of Sumner or Sumer or whatever it is. Any case, when you go to the Babylonians, though, that's where the modern day astrology comes from, because it went from the Babylonians to the Greeks and the Romans, and then that's where we get our Western astrology from.
Yes.
Now, from that, we did talk a little bit before about witchcraft, about the emerald tablets, Thoth, and some of the symbols and elements and stuff. They all use the elements of earth, wind, fire, and water, and each of the different signs of astrology has an element to it as well.
One main element, one associated to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, obviously the sun, which is in
Probably not water. Just saying.
it is a fire element, and then the astrological sign is Leo. Whereas, and that's what I am, right? That's my sun sign. Your sun sign is Pisces, and that is a water sign.
That's right. We put the fires out.
And I'm not even sure like what planet that is. That's really,
fine, right?
maybe it's Neptune. I'm not even sure.
Well, that
Any
place
case,
is cold.
and I could be wrong. So those of you who know astrology a bit more than I do, you can definitely correct me if I'm wrong. But in any case, from my understanding, it was broken up into basically 12 different sections of a pie because the study of astrology, they looked at the kind of like set constellations or set stars in the sky, and that's how they came up with those different sections. And each one of them obviously relates to different things, and these elements of the like different planets have different elements to it, or the signs do. And when you're born, right, that will dictate like how many different types of elements are in your chart.
And more of the percentages?
Yeah, and the percentages. Sorry, I had to clear my throat there. In any
more
case,
Scotch?
I could probably use a little bit more Dalwhinnie. I think that's this cup. I think we'll keep it away from the from the mixer there.
Turn down for what? Sparks are flying. Guess you're a fire sign.
All right, so let's go ahead and let me pull up some information here, I guess, right?
So those of you out there, as you're watching, and you get through this show, please give us some comments. What do you think about astronomy, astrology in particular, when you look at your sign? And the Chinese have their versions, the Western civilization, we have ours. And with all these different Western, Eastern civilizations and the signs, do you believe yours is, and we'll just go on for a vast majority here, or even just a majority, we're going to go for, do you believe what they say about your sign, Leo, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Aries, Aries.
Aries is one.
I was just thinking it's also a god. So with some of these things, though, do you think it's at least 51% accurate, or is it so far off base? And then if it is 51% accurate, how accurate do you think it is? Because for the most part, what I can tell you is, as much as I like to poke fun at this bear of astrology, I also look at my signs and I'm like, well, yeah, that's me.
So with fire, the fire element, right? These signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Fire signs respond to energy very quickly. They favor action. They're ready to go, take risks, start a business, go on a trip, etc. They are confident, idealistic, intense, and approach life with zest and enthusiasm. Here's energy to conquer, lead, and travel physically and mentally. Aries must act. Leos must lead. And Sagittarius explores unknown places and ideas. Positives is that they're extroverted, energetic, enthusiastic, inspirational, visionary, high-spirited, simple, and direct, physically attractive, dramatic, courageous, and warm. Negative.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh. You probably... there you go.
There we go.
The negatives, they are overly active to the point of burnout, restless, impatient, selfish, and insensitive, willful, hasty, lacking in perspective, thoughtless, impulsive, reckless, extravagant, and wild.
All right.
All right. The Earth zodiac elements. Here we have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Earth signs are more cautious in their approach. They are more practical, realistic, and they need solid footing before going forward. Taurus will dig the heels in and really ponder things. Virgos will analyze. Capricorn will climb, but will do it with care, first needing a vision, a plan, and organized structure before starting the ascent. Earth signs are dependable, thorough, and solid. Their positives here are they're practical, efficient, organized, realistic, patient, self-disciplined, hardworking, productive, enduring, persistent, dependable, stable, good common sense, and they're negatives. They're slow, stodgy, lacking in vision, unimaginative, petty, excessively conventional, narrow-minded, stubborn, resistant to change, hoarding, and ultra conservative.
I know him.
Not me.
No, the guy you just talked about.
Oh.
It's supposed to be a joke.
Oh. I will say the negatives on a fire sign, that is totally me.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything.
I am very selfish and insensitive a lot of times. Yeah. Lacking perspective, that's definitely.
But you're also a visionary.
Yes. All right, air elements. These are Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Air signs approach energy mentally. They are thinkers. They are social. Always ready for a new relationship or friendship.
Always.
They love learning, but bore easily. Gemini has great intellectual curiosity, but too many personalities. Libra is partnership driven, but not in an emotional way. Aquarius is popular with friends and is unstoppable when it has a cause to champion. Air signs are into ideas and people. They are not. They are communicative. They must share information, interact with others, and influence society. Their positives. They articulate, objective, mentally clear, detached, capable of forethought, understanding, socially adept, adaptable, cooperative, and relational.
Here's the negatives.
Here's the negatives. They are unemotional, lacking in sympathy, impractical, disassociated from the body and the physical world, over-adapted, abstracted, glib, and hyperactive. Now for the water sign.
All right, I got this. I'm taking some notes, guys.
Water signs respond to energy almost unconsciously. They are deeply emotional. Cancer is motivated to nurtured and be nurtured. Scorpio has intense vision, never swaying, looking straight ahead with laser-like focus. Pisces is the trickiest to describe. Pisces energy is chameleon-like, absorbing its surroundings. Their positives: deeply emotional, sympathetic, empathetic, nurturing, calm, peaceful, sensitive, compassionate, imaginative, intuitive, and psychologically aware. Now for the negatives. Emotionally insecure and unstable, shy, timid, lacking in confidence, oversensitive, easily influenced, manipulated, withdrawn, uncommunicative, vindictive, vengeful, takes everything personally, moody, and depressed. Now, these are the elements and how they relate to the different signs. That doesn't really give you the whole picture when it comes to astrology and your personal charts, because we have your sun. There's actually there's 12 different houses, I believe. And the ones that people most know about is their sun sign. And the way it was described to me is that the sun sign, if you're talking about, let's say, like a, kind of like a car, right? I believe like the sun sign, that is kind of like your engine or whatever, something like that, right? That it's like that's kind of like who it's known as the I am, and the so that would be kind of like the engine, the frame, that stuff. That's not really seen to the whole world, but that's basically what drives you. Then you have what's called the ascending sign, that's like the body of the car. And that's kind of like that's the mask that you put on. That's what you project out to the world.
Bugatti, baby. Bugatti.
And then you have the moon signs. So these are your kind of like the three, I guess, most, I guess if you're going to look at all this, like obviously you want to look at the full natal chart, but these are the first main three to really look at. And then the other, like the last one is your moon sign. The moon sign is like how you feel. And it's kind of like dealing with feelings and stuff like that. So if you will, that would be like maybe the gas of the car. So the moon would be like the gas of the car. The engine, the frame, the internals of a car is your sun sign. And then the body of the car is your ascending sign.
All right.
And then obviously there's a bunch of other, there's like basically how your chart looks as far as like where the plotting of all the planets are. And then how, like what signs are in the different area. What was I about to say? And the different houses. Depends on like what sign is in the house in that particular house and at the time that you were born. And then there's also how many elements you have of everything. So for instance, we talked about this beforehand.
We did.
When it comes to, let's say, let me pull up sorry. This should have been the crickets because you're waiting for me. Oh, crickets, yeah, there you go. So when we look at like Jesse's chart, Jesse was he's a Pisces. That's a sun sign. His moon sign is I believe was a.
It's a nice moon, I promise.
Did we go over what was your moon and all that? Maybe not. Any case, I think we did, but I think it was the wrong chart. So, any case, but when we look at the elements, Jesse is dominated by air, which is 44% of his chart. Water is the next highest at 29%. Earth is at 22% and fire is 3%. And
that 3% is the vindictive, vengeful percent you do not want to be in.
So let's see here. Then with mine, let's see. Mine is 62% fire.
He eats a lot of jalapenos.
7% earth, 7% air, and then 22% water.
It's a good thing you have some water to put out that fire.
Yeah, I think that water does kind of sort of like help not keep me from doing some bunch of stupid things I probably shouldn't be doing.
Extra water, purifies.
That's okay. But I was trying to see if I could find. Okay, so sun is in Pisces. Your moon is also Pisces. And then your ascending. What is your ascending here? Yes. Oh, your ascending is Libra. So it's Pisces, Pisces, Libra. So
Pisces, Pisces, Libra. Sounds like a good song.
Pisces, Pisces, Libra.
Pisces, Pisces.
So
Libra.
mine is Sun Leo, Moon Leo. My ascending is Scorpio.
Leo, Scorpio. That could be like another verse. That's verse.
So I do have a water sign as my ascending sign, which is kind of funny because that's what I supposedly project out into the world. That's my mask is
Water.
Is a Scorpio, water, yeah.
All right.
But I'm mostly all fire. Any case, so there you go. There's a little bit of information about astrology. hopefully that was kind of good information. I'm not sure like what else you want to talk about or hit
No,
on.
I think that was great information. I think there's so much to go over, especially in such a short period of time. You did a really nice job kind of explaining a few signs, sharing a little bit for those of you out there. If you have questions, Noah is absolutely a subject matter expert. Don't hesitate to.
Not that much of one.
I mean, he's my subject matter expert. I explain my signs to me, and he has. So if you're looking for some of the resources he has, some questions, don't hesitate to send us a message.
So what I'll do is like the area where I pull that information for your chart, my chart, I'll just throw that into the into our notes section. Also, not that I totally suggest this, but one person that probably has done a ton of writing and depending on like which realms you look into, Aleister Crowley has supposedly written a very like in-depth book about astrology. And the reason why I'm not really like totally 100% saying like, yeah, go check out the book that Aleister Crowley has written is because depending on who you listen to, he is known as being like a person who's like maybe kind of like the founder or at least the most current founder of like black magic and or dark magic. And a lot of people will relate him back to maybe like the deep state and all those types of things that if you like pay attention to the deep state and all that stuff. But he did write a very in-depth book about astrology. There's other books out there about astrology. I do think astrology, even though it is considered a pseudoscience nowadays, I think there is, like you mentioned, I think there is something to it. I think when you look at sometimes people's signs, there is you're like, yeah, that seems to match that person fairly well, or there's obviously something to it because leaders in the past have like used astrology, so sometimes they'll time their attacks to like certain times of what an astrologer has told them, like when making sure the planets are in the right area before they launch an attack or whatnot. Anyways, I think it's an interesting topic. I'm not sure it's one that I fully believe in. I think there's like some things that are kind of believable with it, and then there's some things that I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure. But I'd say as far as like it being like a real science, I think science is just almost with anything. Like you have theories, you test out the theories. Sometimes your experiments will hold true, and then when they don't, then you create a new theory.
Okay.
So I guess that's all I really have to say about astrology. So I think I say it's definitely something to look into. Whether or not you believe it, I'm not going to tell you to believe it. I found it very interesting to learn a little bit more about it. But whether or not I believe it, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know that I consider it any sort of dark magic, voodoo lady or anything else like that. Good song by Ween. But I do think there are just truths to it. Even if you look at basic physics, basic science, you understand that these masses, the moon, a comet moving by a planet, another satellite, our Earth, it doesn't have an impact on the water. It probably has an impact on other things too.
Exactly. And and there's probably some people who are more intuitive or more open to some of these, like maybe gravitational pulls, or so maybe like a Mercury retrograde is true for somebody who, like, maybe when Mercury is in retrograde, those people may, just because they're more, I don't know, in tune to the universe, I guess, or energies, maybe they do experience more negative things during those time frames. but
It's real.
I mean, we're all energy beings, and energy does get shifted by things that are around us. So.
All right, man. How many times have you had your tarot cards read?
Me? Once, maybe twice.
I've never had mine read. We need to find one of those ladies like in Mallrats to read our tarot cards.
I've had Reiki done. So energy work. Reiki's like energy work. So I've had that done.
I got a battery I can hook one side to one toe and the other side to another.
I believe, this is my personal belief, I believe I astral projected at least once when I was meditating, because I definitely had an out-of-body experience, and I don't know how else to explain it, because it felt like I was actually there. I could smell the dust. I felt the heat, and I really felt my body jolt when I noticed that there was a person standing next to me, and it freaked me out. I've had a friend, she wasn't like, I don't know, but she had oracle cards. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say she's like a professional like tarot card or oracle card reader or whatever, but she had oracle cards, and she
Read them for you?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
All right.
And yeah, that's about as far as I'd go with there.
All right. Well, so this month already, we have talked about witches and witchcraft,
Horror movies,
horror movies,
zombies.
talked about White Walkers and zombies. Now we've talked about astrology. Next week,
I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but we got to come up with an idea, because what will be our smart challenge next week? Should we do a revisit of or since we're like are we like going to be in like the last week before Halloween?
this one will be the last show before Halloween, the way we film them.
Oh, so this would be after Halloween?
The next one will. It'll either be right on or be right before. It'll be 3 days before.
3 days before Halloween. Mm-hmm. So let's just do.
We got 2 Scotch competitions left.
So the next one, we'll just make it a Halloween theme.
All right.
We'll just make it a free for all on Halloween theme, or do we want to make it? How about this? I know we did a horror movies like in general. I don't think we did like a full technical list, but let's maybe do like 3 must see movies before Halloween.
All right.
So it's a definitive list of 3 must-see horror movies. I don't think that's going to take us the full hour. So do you have another idea to toss onto this?
Yes. What does Halloween mean to you?
Okay. What does Halloween mean to you? That's a good one. Might as well throw in like history of Halloween there too. Maybe.
And then,
I think that'd be enough topic.
dude, this one's just like, this is the coup de grace.
Okay.
What is sexy about Halloween?
All the women dressing up as sluts, I guess.
I mean, that can be what it is for you. For me, it's the Sissel pumpkins out front.
Driving around through the neighborhoods, going up to people's houses and smashing their pumpkins. I don't know.
You know, how about considering it's an opportunity?
Don't do that, kids. That's bad.
Dude, that's so bad.
Don't drink and drive.
Take all my candy either. Do not ever drink and drive. You know, there are other things that to me are very sexy about Halloween, and you could go into the comparisons of which one is sexier, werewolves or vampires. And, you know, we've had this conversation before. For us, it's an easy one. But what is sexy about Halloween? And some of it, maybe you get to dress up like whatever it may be, or pretend. But I think there are these other things where it just gets your imagination going, and it makes you think for 1 minute, maybe vampires could be real, or maybe werewolves could be real. And there's something sexy about realizing, hey, you know, there might be aliens out there. I might get probed, whatever you're into. Vampires is what I'm into. Long live the king. But Rui, what is sexy about Halloween?
Okay. So to wrap this up, because I think we're over time, not sure how I'm going to be able to edit all of this.
You're good, man.
All right. So next week's Smarter Challenge. 3 must-see horror movies or Halloween movies.
That's right. What does Halloween mean?
What
to
does
you?
it mean to you / history?
Exactly. And
is it sexy?
what is sexy about
What is
Halloween?
sexy about? Okay. All right. That being said, anything you want to say to the people to say goodbye?
Thank you to all our viewers. Thank you to all our subscribers. Please please subscribe, please leave comments, what you like, what you don't like. We want that information. We're hungry for it. We want to get better. We want to make this show fun for others. So if you watched it and you have an opinion, even if it's not the most pleasant or fun one, please make it constructive and give it to us. Let us know how we could make this better or make this more enjoyable. We're going through the next 2 weeks. We've got next week is the Omen Night Watch versus the Lagavulin 9-year. This one's going to be a tough one. I don't know that it will be a coin toss. We'll see which falls at the end of next week. It's going to be an interesting week because we know we have 2 individuals here very solid in their houses already, and it could be the battle royale. We may never even get to these topics. Scotch may become the fight. So just saying, come prepared. Bring your Omen history. I'll bring the Lagavulin history. Let's have some fun with this. We'll make it our own little Halloween battle and have some fun with it. But with that also, with that information, thank you, Little Ricci's Pizza and Pasta, for great food. The food was great. Really appreciated that dining. And also, thank you to everyone who has in the past given us feedback. Please like, subscribe. Don't drink and drive, and know I pass it on to you to do all the important stuff.
All right. So once again, thank you everyone for watching us. We greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you're liking our ad campaigns if you're on Instagram.
Let us know.
On Instagram, we are under Scotch_hour.
Yes.
On Twitter, we are at our Scotch. For some reason, they wouldn't let me do Scotch Hour on there. But please follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We are also, for our video here, as you know, we're on YouTube and Rumble Audio. We're on Podbean, Spotify, Audible Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And we do greatly appreciate all of you who do support us and subscribe to us. Please, if you like our content, it doesn't cost you anything. Please like us, give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. If you do like our content, we do ask that you please become a patron. In order to become a patron, when you look in our description, it's the very first link. It's the very first thing that we have in our description. You click on that, it goes to Podbean. We're not on Patreon. We're on Podbean's Patron. It's a patron. Just click that link, and you can do it as low as $1 a month, or whatever you feel like you want to. If you want to support us, that we would greatly appreciate it. It does go to adding things like green screens, which we haven't figured out how to really work yet.
So we're back to the white screen.
So we're back to the wall here, and it goes to our other equipments like lights and video, audio equipment, and
future movies.
Future movie rentals. I think we're going to do Matrix Resurrections in December. And for all those here in Colorado that are in the Denver metropolitan area, we'll rent out probably a theater there at one of the AMCs and have you guys come in there and watch Matrix Revolutions with us and celebrate you being our patrons and our fans. And I think that's about it. So thank you once again, and hopefully you all have a great week and it's safe, and cheers to you guys, and here's another great episode.
Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.